as you can see, I have cleared a lot of space in the warehouse this weekend. The 2 cages that were full of books here are gone. I can't tell you how good it feels. They're gone. Look at all this space. Woohoo! Now I can actually work on this without feeling like I'm claustrophobic pushed up against these cages of books. I can't believe it. Now, last week when I filmed my packing video, I had a comment that was like, is this a recent video? And I was like, yeah, I just filmed it on Monday. And it was because all my shelves had been cleared. So the background view was different and everybody could notice. There were so many comments where people were noticing like, oh, the shelves are all cleaned behind you. Well, I just like to say the shelves are back to being full because I've been putting these books away. However, these books are all now getting into an actual organized order. So before they were just books of whatever, just shoved on those shelves, and now they're actually, it's been a work in progress. The bookshelf is getting full again, but the bookshelf is actually organized and I know what's going on with it. But it's not empty. It doesn't take long, does it? 1 week it's empty, 1 week is full. So after emptying those cages, I do have a large stack of crime thriller books there that don't have room on the shelves, but at least I know they're all together and where they are. And the other thing is, look at all these sci-fi books. So this shelf was fairly full of sci-fi books already that I sorted the other day, but I have found another entire shelf full within those cages. These are triple stacked as well. And these are a little bit overwhelming for me just because I'm not very familiar with the sci-fi genre. I've never ever had this much sci-fi at once. So like, this is going to be crazy for me to go through. And yeah, I'm just not familiar with this stuff. So it's going to be a task, certainly a task when I get round to doing the sci-fi. Now, yesterday I spent the whole day in the warehouse and I was just plodding along at a nice steady pace. It wasn't like a hustle pace or a go fast pace. I ended up so productive, but not rushed in any way. Like I wasn't trying to go my fastest. So I was just productive, but at a nice calm pace. When I came in here, I had no intention of emptying those cages. When I came to the warehouses yesterday, I actually had the intention of doing a lot of photography and filming a video while I was talking about some topics, while I was taking some photos. But I don't know what it was. I think I just needed some silence yesterday. You know, that quiet time, no talking. And it ended up being such a productive day. And I had no intention of emptying those cages. I think at one stage, I just kind of walked past and picked a book off the top where I knew where it went and I went and put it away. And then I went back to it and picked another book off. And then I just started grabbing books from it. And next minute, the first cage was like 3/4 done. And Tom came to pick me up from lunch and he kind of looked and he was like, did you do the cage? And I was like, I think I did. I kind of almost finished the cage. And we went to lunch and then I came back and I just finished the cage. I got straight back into it. And then no intentions again to start the second cage. But I did. I started the second cage and I just kept going through it and through it. And before long, both cages were totally finished. And I sent Tom a message and I said, the cages are done. And he said, oh my goodness, I'll come and take them out for you. And honestly, seeing Tom come in with the forklifts and remove those cages, it was honestly like freeing. So even though yesterday that was not the intention of my day, I think it was the best thing that I could have done. And now I get to start my week with that nice clear space. And I can work on the back wall now without being so claustrophobic. Like it was so hard even building those shelves and putting there while those cages were there. So having that free space now to continue working on that, amazing. Now, after I did those 2 cages, I plodded along and picked the orders that I had come in from last night. Again, I've had a very slow weekend of sales. I didn't hit my listing goal this week of listing every single day. I think I did list about 130 items for the week, which really isn't enough for my store. but it's better than what I'd done in the few weeks prior. So I did 130 last week. I think it's 125 to 130. I'll add it up properly when I get to the computer before I start listing this afternoon. But this week's goal, rather than having I didn't have a number last week. I just kind of had I want to list every single day. I didn't hit every day, but I listed as much as or as often as I possibly could. I had a few things come up last week that threw the spanner in the works, as usual. But this week, I think I might make my listing goal just to list more than I listed last week. Because 125, 130, it's not really as much as I would like. I would almost double that. So we'll see. I'm going to show you some of these orders that I picked last night. I've got a few more that have come in overnight that I will need to go and get. But I've already packed some of the orders yesterday when they came in. So I've got 2 tubs down the end that you can't see. They're actually already full of packed up books. And kind of left a lot of the big chunkier ones here to pack up now. Now, one thing I want to change is I've got all my large mailers up here that I'm reaching up to get all the time. Now, having a shoulder issue, I'm trying to alleviate bottlenecks that cause me strain on my shoulder. So I've put some mailers down here underneath this bench. So when I need a large mailer, the idea is that I can be pulling it from down here rather than reaching up. If I reach up, I'm going to try and use the left arm, which is my uncoordinated arm, because normally I would lift up with my right arm. But I'm going to see how this works. I think it's going to be, I'm going to automatically reach for the mailers up the top, because I have been using this packing setup for probably 5 years. And it's, old habits are hard to break. Okay, let's start off. This order that's going out is heavy, so I don't want to hold it too long. 6 books of Patricia Cornwell, 6 hardcover books of Patricia Cornwell. Now, Patricia Cornwell, I've never had much luck with her. These books came for free. They were in very good condition. They were in actually some of the older cages that I got. I pulled them out. I thought, she's not somebody that I actively go and source. I will not buy her at the thrift shop or at a book fair. I will never touch Patricia Cornwell. So the only time she's in my store is if she's come to me for free and I'm trying to save her. I'm trying to save her from landfill, guys, because I know she doesn't sell at the charity shops either, and a lot of the charity shops end up putting Patricia Cornwell in the bin. It's just how it is. The authors that don't sell is the same as Bryce Courtney. He's just another one of those authors that people can't move. Big, chunky, hardcover books. Anyway, Patricia Cornwell is a hard one for me. These ones have been listed since September 24, so they have taken a year for me to move, and sold for $36. So I took an offer. I think I had them listed a little higher. And yeah, I took an offer for $36. I'm just so glad to be rid of them. They're chunky on my shelves. She's slow moving for me, and yeah, I just can't seem to move her. She does have some newer books in her paper. I prefer to sell the paperbacks than the hardcovers. She does have some newer books that I've had greater success with, but some of the older, just slow to move. She's not my favorite author, guys. So Patricia Cornwell out the door, $36. Now, this lot of books, however, has sold fast. I only just listed this week, so this is one of my brand new listings. 4 books by Nigella, 4 cookbooks. One's called Nigella Expressed, Nigella How to Be a Domestic Goddess, Nigella Feast, and Nigellaism. So, yeah, there you go. Nigella has gone out the door full price at, okay. Look, all the mailers just slid down. So maybe I could just put them here, actually. Maybe I could set a few of them here on packing day. That might work. That might work. Okay, Nigella has sold for $39 at full price. She doesn't bring huge money, Nigella, but yeah, $39 for a very quick sale. out the door. Now, this bundle has just been listed in September, so it's not a very old listing. Fiona McIntosh. This is 6 books, all by Fiona McIntosh. In fact, oh, look what I went to do. I think in one of my cleaning up videos, I actually had found the Fiona McIntosh and I was trying to make a bundle of her. Anyway, I made the bundle. She has sold. So that moved pretty quickly. I would say that was only listed end of September. And that bundle sold for $44.95. Right, now these 2 bundles are going out to the same buyer. However, due to the weight load of them, I have to send them in 2 parcels because these mailers that I use, they're all flat rate. So I can send up to 5 kilos of weight in this, which is equivalent to 11 pounds. So it's basically whatever fits in these mailers, and it's calculated by weight. So you can put as much as I want in there as long as it doesn't go over 5 kilos. And that's the same as all my mailers. But the 2 bundles of these books would have gone over the 5 kilos if I do it. So I'm sending them as 2 individual parcels. Oh, didn't even show you what it was. Okay, this one. Ooh, my goodness me. Okay, guys. Happy Monday. We've got a bundle of dessert cookbooks here. Now, these have been listed a while, I think. It's February 2024. 5 books on just random books or cookbooks on different desserts. And the other book, so did I tell you that one sold for $29.99 and this one is sold for $35. So we've basically got a $65 order from this buyer. This is a bundle of cookbooks with the baking theme, I think. So we've got baking, home baking cookbook, Buttercup, Bake at Home, Easy Baking, Baking with a Passion, and From My Oven, a step-by-step guide to successful baking. So, somebody's doing some baking and it sounds like somebody's making some yummy desserts. Okay, now these have been listed since August last year, so they have sat for quite a while, but this bundle is sold for $39.99. Now this is a book of 6 books here in this. They're kids books and they're all those like look and find. So where's Will, Freeze a Crowd, Spot What, Amazing Spot What, Magical Spot What. So they're all like those books where you have to, a bit like Where's Wally, if you know what I mean. Those ones have sold for $39.99. Okay. This one's called Wheater's Functional Histology, a text and colour atlas. This one's just sold for $24, but looks like it's been listed in March this year. Someone told me that in the comments that you can get erasers that are run by a battery. So then you just hold it there and it goes zzz and rubs it out. So I looked up all the reviews on it because I thought, oh, that'd save me like doing this action all the time. The reviews that I read on it said that it's really good if the pencil is very light, but if the pencil is pushed on hard, then it doesn't fully properly remove it. So I'm wondering, does anybody here, has they ever used a electric eraser to give me some feedback on whether or not if the pencil is written firmly, if it will remove that, or do I still need to then pull out an eraser and do it myself? It seems to me like people who use these electric erasers are people who do sketching, and so their pencil marks are very thin, whereas I've got people who write pencil marks in here like they're pressing as hard as they possibly could. So yeah, I'm just not sure if it's going to be right for me. Now this one is sold for $29.99. It is called The Sexual Life in Ancient Rome by Otto Kiefer. So that book has been listed since January 2024. It's been there a while, but did sell for $29.99 at full price. So that's pretty good. Let me tell you the story about this one. If you watched my video the other day, you would have seen that I found 3 Alfred Hitchcock books while I was cleaning up the money pile. And in the video, I said that I thought I'd be able to sell them for somewhere around that $40 or $50 mark. I ended up putting them on for $50 last week in the evening. And when I woke up in the morning, I think I had 3 or 4 offers on the book, but they were all like sitting at around $30, $35. One of them might have been $40, and I had it listed for $50. And I thought, okay, it's not very often that I list a book in the evening and then I wake up to multiple offers on the same book. So I kind of thought to myself, I think I've underpriced these, even though they're putting in low offers. The fact that there's so much interest on them, I think I've underpriced them. So I went back and did a little bit more looking, and I thought, I might relist them and put them up for $65. So that's what I did. I put them back up, moved them from $50 to $65. And again, I had some offers come in very quickly on those books. And there was a couple of offers there. One of them was for $50, but I decided not to take it straight away because the offers will sit in your inbox for 24 hours. You've got 24 hours to take it. So there was an offer for $50, which was my original higher price before I put it up to $65. And I thought, I'm just going to sit on it. And then lo and behold, a couple of hours later, a sale comes through for $65. Full price, no offer, bought it. So there you go. It definitely paid off for me to sit and not accept that offer straight away. And it was interesting because the person who did make that offer came back a few hours later and said, did this book sold? And I wrote back, yes, sorry, this book sold for full price within the 24 hours of being listed. So there you go. Little bit of a quick flip there. Alfred Hitchcock, 3 books sold for $65. Right, now the next order, 2 individual sales but going out to the same buyer. Both bundles are books of vintage westerns by Louis L'Amour. This one has got 5. This one has also got 5, just different thicknesses. Both bundles have sold for $34 each. So $68 for that buyer. Great sale. These little vintage westerns really are very popular. I've never read one. I should read one to see what all the hype is about because it's a bit like the Mills and Boon. They're just very steady sellers, and sometimes they're hard to find while you're out and about. The vintage westerns aren't the easiest books to find out while you're thrifting, and sometimes they price them too high to be able to put them into the bundles like that. But yeah, I'm so happy with that. $68. Now these are pretty cool books. These are part of a series called The Enchanted World. They're actually really nice illustrated fantasy type books. This bundle that I've sold has got wizards and witches and fairies and elves. This lot has got fabled lands and spells and biddings. And this lot here has got the Fall of Camelot and Seekers and Saviors. So this person has bought 3 of them. I had them listed as $39.99 for each bundle, which is 2 books. And the first offer, he sent me an offer for $35 on the first one. I took that. I was happy with that. And then he sent offers on 2 more for $30 each. So because he was buying the 3, I happily accepted those lower prices on the 2 other bundles. So I've ended up selling these for $95. I think I only listed these in August, just looking at that. So 3 lots going out for $95, which is great. The only problem is, again, with the weight, these are heavy books. So one of them is going to go into a mailer, and then the other 2 are going to go into a separate mailer. So they're going to go out in 2 lots. But yeah, they're really nice books inside. Really, really nice big colour illustrations and stuff. So there's that one. And then these ones will need to go into the large. I'm still reaching, isn't it? So even though this is not my bad shoulder, I need to alleviate all kind of unnecessary reaching in my old age. Because otherwise this shoulder is going to be taking all the work that I'm trying to alleviate off the sore shoulder And then this shoulder will probably end up full of tendinitis and bursitis as well. Okay, this was a great sale. This book has been listed since June 2025. It did come from one of the cages and I've sold it for $89.95. Called Made in Australia by David Mist. It's a large book, obviously, vintage book. It's like it's all black and white, but as you can see, it's got some Aussie bombshells in there. It's a very nice book, $89.95. I guess it hasn't taken too long to sell if it's from August for a higher price book. It's gone out for full price. No offer was made on it. $89.99 or $95, whatever it was. Now, I listed these last year in October before Christmas. They didn't sell, but they have sold this October. It is a bundle of Christmas magazines. I've sold these for $30. I think they were listed for a little bit more, maybe $35 or $39. Anyway, I've taken the offer for $30 because I got so many more Christmas books here to photograph and list, which is something that I'd really like to do now around that October. I've noticed I've got other people who have been watching some of my other Christmas items. So I think now's the time to get the Christmas cookbooks out and about. So I think maybe like as soon as I've got some space, I'm going to try and make some Christmas bundles up. I think that should be a high priority. I tell you, it feels really nice to come in on a Monday morning to not only a clean space, but to already have a chunk of orders packed, the rest of them picked, and to only have the few that have come in overnight waiting to go and pick and do. I'm feeling so productive. This book sold for $34.99. This book is called Aubrey's Brief Lives, edited from the original manuscripts with an introduction by Oliver Lawson Dick. That one is sold, yeah, $34.99. Not bad. Now, this book has been designed for maybe somebody who's doing homeschooling. It's called Home Play here, and it is designed for home activities, not actually teaching in a classroom, but it is fine motor skills and handwriting for teaching young children movement in the home environment. So that book is sold for $28.99. I get a little bit stressed whenever there's a book with the spiral bound. I always worry about it like getting squashed in the post. So I generally will double mailer a book that's got a spiral bound. Now, these books have been listed since August. 3 books by Paulo Coelho. I don't know if I said that right. One of them's called Hippie, one of them's called Adultery, and one of them is called 11 Minutes. Those books have sold for $27.99 for the bundle. I guess they haven't been listed too long. No idea where those ones came from. Definitely didn't cherry pick them, but so they would have come to me in a free haul. Okay, now this one is from one of my regular viewers and buyers, whose name is Amanda. Amanda has been asking me for bread books for so long, and like I've got all these books around me and I know there's bread books, but never fear, Amanda, I've actually got a collection going over there now, a pile of bread books. So as I'm finding them, I'm collecting this pile so I can make a cool bread bundle that maybe you'll be interested, or maybe you won't be now because you just bought 4 bread books. Okay, Amanda has spent $103.92 on this order. She did leave a funny comment. This one here, the Bread Bible, was only a new listing. And she did make a funny comment here as a note. She says, "Hi Mel, I got the Bread Bible. It was in another person's cart, so sorry to that person." Love, Amanda. So yeah, there you go. I only just listed this. When she went to buy it, it was already sitting in somebody else's cart, so it was going to be a fast mover. Amanda has bought The Bread Bible by Rose Livy Berenbaum, author of The Cake Bible. I've got The Cake Bible. I just sold one the other day and I know I've got another one that's waiting there to photograph. This one is called Jam and Chutneys, Preserving the Harvest. another home preserves cookbook by Jackie Burrow. And then she's bought this little collection called the Little Brown Gift Box. And it's brown bread book, brown bean book, brown egg book, brown rice book in this cute little collection box. So thank you very much, Amanda. As always, I appreciate you greatly. And yeah, I liked the little bad luck to the other person. You know what they say, you snooze, you lose. Okay, now where's my roll here? So when I was picking these, this is such an ADHD thing, I tell you what. Sometimes when I see things, inside my head I break out into song if whatever I see reminds me of a song. And so when I saw this one, I immediately broke into song like, "You're simply the best, better than all the bread." And I don't know why, that was so random. Like didn't even make sense because the song goes, "You're simply the best, better than all the rest." And I think I was like, "You're simply the best. Amanda's better than all the bread." And anyway, so on her shipping label reference, I've actually written, "You're simply the best, better than all the bread." Oh, she probably thinks I'm a wacko. Now, I think having the mailers here definitely was better than having it here. But after doing it, I still don't think it's ideal because I'm still kind of reaching like this in this twisting action. And I don't think that's great ergonomics for the body. So I think ideally I would be better to have the mailers here. So I'm just sliding them. But that's also not ideal there because I often have stacks of books that are waiting for me to pack. So unless I had something here that I could pull it out of, I don't know. I'll have to think a little bit more about. I like it at this height. I definitely like it at this height. So I need to think a little bit more about that, but I don't know. So I got a viewer question here from somebody that I know has been following me for a very long time because I know the name, I recognize the name, I recognize those viewer names that comment on video after video, and I thank you so much if you're one of those people. Now, this person's name is Super Rashid. Now, I don't know what your proper name is, or I don't even know if you're male or female. But anyway, you have asked me a question that says, "I wonder how big you would want to be. How many more square meters of space do you want to have?" Now, I thought this was an interesting question because I don't want to be any bigger. And I think sometimes when people see the amount of volume of books and stuff that I've got here, that I think sometimes people have the wrong idea that I want to grow this massive, massive eBay store, which is actually the opposite to what I want to do. So I 100% don't want to have any more space. I think somebody else asked in the comments, would you consider having a second warehouse to put your death pile in? I have thought about that, to be honest, just to have like that one messy room and then always come into the nice clean working space. But I don't think that's a good solution to have like a separate death pile room. It just gathers and becomes a death pile room. Tom's got like a death pile warehouse and it's not good. It's just gathered there with stuff and it's so hard to empty, and it just keeps filling up and you just keep filling it up because you think you've got this space to do it. And that, I don't think that's an ideal solution. So although I sometimes like the idea of having the unlisted in a separate warehouse, one, there's no other warehouse space around here, but I just don't think it's a solution to the problem. It's just hiding the problem into another warehouse, if that makes sense. But as for this space, this is a fantastic space that I'm in. I think it gives me room to have a good area that's full of unlisted books so that I can create bundles. And I am looking to go towards more of that model that will have more of the higher end pricing books in there. And I can't find enough of the higher price books to solely rely on individual books. I'd have to be outsourcing just non-stop, and that's not also a business model that I want to go down the path. I get inventory coming to me, which I absolutely love, but it does mean that I often don't get the best of the best individual books that are worth $50 or more. You know, they're few and far between when you're sourcing in the way that I source. So I think this warehouse gives me that area size to be able to have stuff to create bundles with, gives me enough space here to have all these listed books. Now, I currently have about 6,000 or 6,200 listed books, I think, on eBay, which is the lowest I've had in a long, long time. It was even up around the 8,000 at one stage. So I know comfortably I can fit, I could probably fit comfortably 9,000 listings, I reckon, onto the shelves that I've already got. The only thing is it would depend on whether or not those 9,000 books were individual or bundle, because obviously when you have a bundle and it's got lots and lots of books, then that's taking up space. And if I have a shelf where it's just all individual books, I can fit a lot more on it than a shelf that's sometimes with a shelf of bundles, I might only get 9 bundles onto one of those shelves. So obviously if I'm doing individual books, I might get over 100 books onto one shelf. So again, how many listings I have depends on how much the percentage of my store is bundles of books and how much is listed books. This almost goes with another question I got that was, do you prefer working from the warehouse or do you prefer working from home, or something along those lines? Would you prefer to be working back from home or something? And there's pros and cons about working from home and working from a warehouse. I loved working from home, and sometimes I do miss just being able to get up, stay in my pajamas and potter around the house working. But one of the pros about having it in a warehouse or off-site, whether or not that's a storage unit complex or wherever you've got your listed inventory and workspace, the pros are it's away from your house, because there's nothing worse when you have it in your house and it starts overtaking your house. That actually can cause stress on the rest of the family as well, your partner or your spouse or your children. Like, it starts invading into their spouse and they might not like it. And it's very easy to start from home in your garage and have it start spreading into your dining room tables, piles around your dining room table, in your spare bedroom. Heaven forbid, some people even have it in their main bedroom surrounding their space. And I just don't think that's personally great. I do like to have that separation, home and business. The one thing about me is I have my laptop, so I can work from home. I do very little work on the computer here except for printing out labels and doing some inventory stock control. All my listing is done at home on my laptop. All my editing of my videos is done at home. I can do all my paperwork at home. So I can still have that balance of doing stuff in the warehouse and stuff at home. However, I don't have all the stuff at home. And I think that is a good separation to have that. But yeah, my answer to you is I don't want any more space. I'm not looking to grow this business to be this large scale $1 million eBay business. It's never what I've intended for this business. It's, I've always done this as a lifestyle business, and I have the other elements to my income like YouTube and stuff. I like making videos and having secondary things than just eBay, if that makes sense. If I spent all my time on eBay and not YouTube, this store would be running so much bigger and better than it currently is. But I divide my time up. So I spend time on videos, I spend time on eBay. I'm not just doing one solely full time, and I prefer it like that, because if I was honestly doing eBay full time and only eBay and had no real creative outlet, I would just that's not for me. I would go bananas. Like, I wouldn't be still doing eBay if I was only doing eBay. I'd be bored bored out of my brains. I need something else. My mind likes to jump from different things, and I know my eBay business would be way more successful if I just focused on eBay alone, but it just doesn't. It's just, I don't know, it's just not something that I choose to pursue in that way. So yeah, I definitely don't want to grow the business any bigger. If anything, I would like to reduce it. I've got 6,000 listings. That's a lot even. It's a lot for inventory, stock control, and a lot of those listings are old and really shouldn't be listed anymore anyway. I think if I had a store with up to about 4,000 listings, it would be more manageable. But the only way to do that is to keep decreasing the lower end books from the store and increasing it with those higher end items, and, you know, taking those lower end items that just been sitting on the shelf for far too long, slowly moving them out of the store, which I have been doing over the last few months. I have been decreasing. Like I said, the store was at 8,000 listings. Now it's just over 6,000. And that's because I've actively been working on removing old listings that are stale and doing absolutely nothing, getting 0 views, and have been sitting on the shelf for, you know, some of them up to 4 years time. So I'm actively trying to work my way through the listed stock just as much as I am through the unlisted inventory. I'm trying to do both at the same time so I can get the store running really, really smoothly, because I know how I should be running it, and I know I'm not always running it in the way that I should because I get so sidetracked, but I know what I should be doing and what is the best practices. It's just, for me, I'm so easily sidetracked that things can get like set to the side for a little bit too long, and then they become messy and overwhelming. So yeah, let's start picking. So I've only got another 5 orders here to pick from overnight, so not too many. There is a few waiting for payment, and there's a few that I've had offers going back and forth with, but this one is sold for $35. It's very, very chunky, isn't it? And this one is called Machinery's Handbook, the revised 21st edition. Only like small sizing, but very thick. That one is sold for $35, and that's been listed since September, so it's only a new listing. Now this one's easy to see because it's this big white Bible. So this one has sold for $26.99. Large white padded kind of Bible. It's got a little bit of discoloration to it. It's got gold leaf pages, all 4 sides. There's no writing inside this book. This Bible, this one has sold for $26.99, has been listed since August. Sometimes with these larger Bibles, I can sell them for up to $50. It depends on the condition and which actual type they are, but there are quite a few of these large size Bibles. This one with a little bit of discoloration around the sides here, it's kind of a little bit yellowed. That's the problem with white vinyl kind of material, plastic. What is this? It's like a plasticky. It's not leather. It does discolor and go that yellowy color. So the white ones aren't as ideal. They're never in as nice condition as the darker ones. But anyway, it's fairly quick selling, I guess, since August, only a couple of months, $26.99. Oh, one of these days, one of my weekly tasks that I'm going to set myself is to tidy some of these shelves. Maybe I should just tidy every single time I do a pick from a shelf, I should tidy it. Now, what have we got here? Goose fat and garlic country recipes. Down the bottom, of course, making it nice and hard to get. Goose fat and garlic country recipes has sold for $16. So yeah, these kind of cookbooks, they don't have all the nice color pictures in them. I don't know about you, but I prefer to look at a cookbook that's got the pictures that make my mouth water, and then I want to go cook it. Like a book like this gives me no desire to cook the recipe from it. But that's just me. Okay, F2. Oh, wait. This reminds me, there's my beautiful trusty Peloton spin bike that I absolutely love, and yet I always forget to use. No, I don't forget to use it, I just don't use it. Last week, part of my goals was to use the exercise bike twice. Just to let you know, I failed that goal, that weekly goal. I didn't use the bike once. Oh my goodness, I wanted to use it twice twice during the week. It's not hard, Mel. I will say one of my other weekly goals was to go for a daily walk. I got out and did daily walk 5 days out of the 7. So I'm pretty happy with that, because coming from no walks to 5 out of the 7 days, I'm pretty happy about that. One of the days I had a good excuse. I was been walking in the afternoons, and that afternoon I got a phone call from my son saying he was on his way to the hospital. He'd got a very dangerous chemical in his eye at his work. He did not look very pleasant when I went in there. He had an eye drip where they drip for about 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if it was a saline solution or an antibiotic or what it was, as they were trying to flush out the eye. But he had this plastic thing sitting inside his eye attached to a drip, and he just had to sit there with the eye open, clamped with this thing, with this drip for about 30 minutes. And I'll tell you a funny story. I walked in and he was just kind of like getting up from it, and he started yelling at me, and he's like, "It's come out, it's come out, it's come out." And I was like, "What's come out?" And I thought he was like on some drugs or something and hallucinating, and he was telling me that his eyeball had popped out. Anyway, it was just this drip thing had popped out. And I thought he was like on some kind of high on drugs they'd given him. Anyway, he's all right. He's okay. Thankfully, he was very sensible, washed it out very thoroughly at his workspace, and the hospital said that probably saved him. So anyway, that afternoon went to pew, did not go to plan. I didn't get home till it was very late and dark, and I don't know about you, but I don't like walking alone when it's late and dark, and it's just not, I don't like it. I like to walk when the sunlight is out, not when it's pitch black. So that day got scrapped, and I can't remember the other day. It just didn't happen. You might be also wondering, what is this table that she's put in front of the door and now she can't even access her room? Well, this has got some bundles on it that I have found while I've been condensing all the shelves and the cages and everything. But as you can see, this is my photo pile. This is my waiting to list photo pile. And I've got so many bundles created here and here and along there, and these are the next lot of individual books that I'm going to start on today. But I just needed some space to put more of these bundles. So these are going to be a priority though. As soon as I've finished doing these today, then those are going to be the next things I do, because I don't want that table to stay there in front of the door, because if I have to go in there, that'll be a pain. Okay, what do we got? Heads and Tails, been listed since January. This book is sold for $20, and it's by Jack Rhodes, Reflections of a Fisheries and Wildlife Officer. There you go, Heads and Tails. No, is that it? Heads and Tails. Oh, the doctor's ringing me, my MRI. Hello, Melissa speaking.
Hi, Melissa. This is Leah. How are you going?
Good, thank you.
That's good to hear. Just giving a quick call. Your recent results just came in. You book an appointment just to review those with him. Would you be able to come in this week?
I can come in this week. I could come in tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Let me just check for you.
So that was good. I just got a phone call from my doctor. So I'll tell you the story. About 10 days ago, not last Thursday, but the one before, it was late at night. It was probably about nearly 10 o'clock at night. I just finished doing a Zoom call, and I was talking to Tom on the phone before I went to bed. And I could hear this big blowfly, in the bedroom. Honestly, I hate the sound of a blowfly. And I was talking to Tom, and I was getting ready for bed, and I was like, I am not going to be able to sleep with this blowfly zapping around my room. So I put Tom on the speakerphone. I got up, I looked around my room. The tracksuit pants that I'd just taken off to put my pajamas on were sitting on the floor, so I grabbed them. And you know when you got like, I'm going to explain this. You know when you get a tea towel and you like spin it around like this and then you whip like somebody's butt or something? Like, that's the only way I can explain it. But I picked up the tracksuit pants off the floor and I started to spin them around in my hand so I could whip the fly. Anyway, it was up high on the roof, so I stood up on the bed as you do. I got these twisted tracksuit pants and I whipped the fly. Well, that is the most stupidest thing I could ever have done for my shoulder that I've been struggling with since June, probably. It was July that I had cortisone and had the ultrasound that said I had bursitis. And that was quite possibly the most stupidest thing that I could have done, was to whip this fly. I whipped it without even thinking, as hard as I could, and I dropped to the bed in the fetal position, holding my shoulder, screaming. Tom's on the poor phone, on the speakerphone. He had no idea that I'd even gotten up to hit a blowfly. Like, I didn't say to him, hold on, let me grab the fly. I just kept talking to him while he was on speaker. Next minute, all he can do is hear me screaming. And he's like, what's happened? Are you okay? What's going on? And I'm just like, couldn't even catch my breath. It took me a while before I could just say, my shoulder. I swatted the fly. So anyway, honestly, the pain was like 10 out of 10, acute pain. It felt like I ripped it. It felt on par with childbirth, and I've naturally birthed 4 children. It was the most painful thing that I've experienced in many, many, many years. And I don't know, I just had the worst night's sleep that night, and I just knew that I'd done something else for it. So went back to the doctor, had an MRI on Friday to see if I have actually like torn, because I feel like I've had obviously the ongoing bursitis problem, which is inflammation, and it just makes everything painful. So I can still use the shoulder, I can still do everything. It's just that it's painful every time I reach up and do stuff. And then obviously if I overdo it when I go to bed at night, I just have the worst night's sleep. But this felt different. This felt like I injured something that hadn't properly probably healed enough. And anyway, that doctor just called, and the MRI results are in this morning, and he wants to see me tomorrow. So we will soon find out if I have done like an acute injury to it, because this is different. The other stuff is the bursitis has been built up from like repetitive actions that I do in this business, the carrying of the books, the repetitiveness of reaching up to the shelves and stuff like this. Whereas this is like an injury now. So whether or not that also impacts how they deal with it, I don't know. So we'll soon see. I don't think I've done like a full tear, but I would say that I reckon I've probably done at least a partial tear. I'll just show you this arm. Like, I can move all up my back and scratch my back, and you know, I can do everything with this arm. This arm goes to about here. Oh, thank you. I just had a delivery from iHerb, which is some vitamin B tablets and some magnesium. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I was saying, this one's full range. This one goes to about here, and it's like there's an impingement in it. I can't bend it. I can't move it in. Like, I can't go to an L shape like that. I can't move it any further than that. So, you know, I can't undo my bra. I can't scratch my back. I can move it up this way. Like, it hurt, it aches when I do it. It's painful to move the arm in any direction. But moving towards the back, I don't know if there's an impingement there from a tear or something, but it's actually like immobilized almost to a point. So anyway, off the shoulder talk. I'm sick of talking about my woe me problems, but yeah, that's what's going on. Now, I didn't show you this order when I picked it, but this was a great sale. It sold for $99.90, so basically $100. 2 bundles of children's books here. These are called Aussie Bites. These ones are called Aussie Nibbles. Now, you can see how the corners bit off them, and this one's like nibbled in the middle. So that's how you can tell the difference when I'm lotting them up, and I do try and keep them like as the nibbles or as the bites, because they are for slightly different reading ages. The nibble ones are for a slightly younger age group than the ones that are for the bites. So maybe that difference of 1 or 2 years, maybe it's like 5 to 7, and then maybe like 8 to 9 or something like that. But that's a great sale, those 2 bundles. These are only new listings, and those ones, yeah, have sold for $99. So that's amazing. I went to grab up high again, didn't I? I love getting mail. I'm not a big shopper Like, I'm not one of these people that buys myself a lot of like clothes or just stuff. The thing that I spend money on is food and going out to eat and stuff like that. I'm not a big shopper. Like, I don't get like a buzz from going. Like, if I'm sad, I'd rather eat the block of chocolate than go online shopping. I know some people like to go online shopping, but I don't. So every now and then when I do get a parcel, it's kind of really exciting. Look, this is so random. Look how this is packed. So it's this box, like, it's got 4 of these, 3 of them which aren't even got any air in them. Like, what is that going to do? That's not going to pad it up. Lucky they don't need padding. Okay, we've got Life Extension Bioactive Complete B Complex and some magnesium capsules. I was doing some reading up. These ones have said they're meant to be very good for energy boosting. And I think because my mood's been a little bit down, like over the last few months with all these injuries and living in all this pain, I was like, I need something to help lift my mood. So these ones are apparently quite a high dose and of vitamin B, so I'm hoping that they work. I'll give you an update in about a month. And magnesium capsules. I do normally take some magnesium before bed, but I've run out of the powder that I was having. I normally have it in powder form, but I thought I might try some of these capsules and maybe fingers crossed. Oh, I can't tell you how good it is to walk along here with a trolley. So good. I do like having the boxes set up here straight away. I hate it when these benches get filled with books. It's one of my pet hates. Okay, now I'm going to keep doing a little bit of work over on my cookbook station over here. Can you see me? So I want to do a little bit more work over here. I've just brought in some of the tubs as I was walking past them because they're all sitting outside piled on a pallet. They are a little bit dusty and dirty, so I will need to give all of these a little bit of a wipe out before I start using them. I don't seem to have many cloths here at the moment in the warehouse. I must have taken them home to do like a washing load of them and then never brought them back. So I know I've got 1,000 of them at home. So this is probably the best solution that I can think of at the moment, these tubs. They are, as Tekken Sports would say, they are low cost, no cost. I don't have to buy them. Tom's got thousands of them just sitting on pallets. So I can just use them, borrow them. The only other option that I've been thinking is, you know those cardboard, what do they call it? Those like magazine holders, the cardboard ones that where you'd fit slimline, and I'd probably, instead of fitting these 3 tubs, I don't know, I'd maybe fit about 8 or 9 of those cardboard kind of magazine holders. But I don't know, I just kind of feel like at the moment sales have been low while I've had so much time off with the injuries, and you know, I've had quite a lot of medical expenses of late. So I just trying to low cost, no cost is kind of the theme at the moment. And you know, like I've been tracking all my finances. It's quite eye-opening to do it. I might talk about it more like at the end of the month, or the first, might do like a monthly reset or something, talking about, you know, how the tracking has gone for me and stuff. The biggest thing for me still is, which I knew, was food. That's my biggest expense. But I have been mindful of it. I've cut out a lot. Oh, last week one of the things I said I was not going to do all week was drink coffee after 12, and I stuck to that. That's the one thing I actually, the one goal that I hit all week. Out of all the goals I set for myself, what was it? I said I was going to do 3 videos. I only got 2 out. I said I was going to list every day. I didn't list every day, but I did do 125, 130 listings. I said I was going to try and photograph every day. I don't think I photographed every day. The problem with my listing wasn't actually that I couldn't get the listing done. It was that I didn't have any more photos. So somebody left that in a comment actually. They said to me, your bottleneck is your listing. And I said, I disagree, because when I've got the photos, I list. I enjoy listing. I enjoy listing at night even. I find it quite therapeutic to sit down after dinner and do an hour or 2 of listing. I list fast. I don't have any problems listing. It's not my most disliked task of the whole business. I actually quite like the listing. I find it quite therapeutic. So I don't think listing is the bottleneck. There's so many processes that you have to do before you get to listing. So I've got to sort them all. I've got to choose the ones that I have to photograph. I've got to get the bundles together. Then they're all sitting there. Then I've got to photograph them. Right? Sometimes if I don't have enough shelf space, I have to consolidate before I can even photograph. So there's a whole lot of processes that go before the listing stage, and those are the ones that I get stuck on. So this week, I spent a lot of time organizing. I did all this. I did the cages. Like I've done a lot of organizing this week because I know that is such a priority for me to get this stuff sorted. The quicker I can get everything streamlined, the less then I have to do and my shoulder can heal, I hope. So the bottleneck is the photos, 100% for me, I think, is the photos, because it's kind of the last stage of this processing before the listing. If the photos are there on my hard drive, I get them listed. It's very, very rare that I just have folders of photos waiting to list. As soon as they're done, I like to sit there and get them listed. I like that. So everything that I photographed this week was listed this week. There's nothing sitting on my desktop that I haven't done. So yeah, I think that's why I didn't hit that goal. And then, well, I think they were my business goals. They were just the basic ones. And then what else was my personal goals? Drink more water. Meh. Walked 5 out of 7 days. Didn't use the exercise bike. Definitely worked on expressing more gratitude and thinking about those kind of things. And what else did I say? Yeah, the one thing I said I was not going to do was drink coffee after 12. And I stuck to that. So I was having my morning coffee, and then when Tom and I would go for lunch, no coffee. And Tom and I have been fasting for the last few days because he likes to fast every now and then, and he's going through a stage where he wants to get back into fasting. So I'm kind of doing it while I'm with him, I'm fasting with him, because it just kind of feels, it's better when you do it as a team, don't you reckon? If you're on the same like kind of goal or something. So we're basically trying to eat between 12 and 6 at the moment, and just focus on fasting that rest of the time, which is fine. I'm not a breakfast person anyway, but I do like my coffee. And the one thing is you are allowed black coffee when you fast, but Tom has to give up his mochas. So it's been good for us, but because I've been having my 1 coffee in the morning, he's been getting his 1 mocha with lunch, and we've both been only having that 1 coffee, because when it comes to lunch, if it's after 12, I've been very strict on no coffee after 12. So yeah, I've actually saved probably quite a bit of money by not having, sometimes I'd get 1 at lunchtime and then 1 even in the afternoon about 4 o'clock. So I have definitely saved money this week by having the no coffee after 12. That's that goal. I did achieve that. I'm going to stick with that this week. That's going to maintain. Okay, what am I going to do here? I wonder if I know I've got half a stack over there of ones that maybe I should do that first. Yeah, these are the only ones I've got left to sort. So I may as well do that now before I start trying to tub them up. Yeah, I may as well put these together, these last ones, because then there will be still more amongst there, but this is the majority of them. And Tom will be here in a minute because it's 12:15. And I know, because he's a real breakfast person, I'm not. I don't care at all about giving up breakfast. It's not something that I care about. I don't love breakfast. So, but I know that it's 12:15 and he'll be starving. So he'll be really starving. So I'm sure he'll be here any second and he'll be like, let's go to lunch. Or coffee for him probably. He's probably hanging for a coffee. Started early this morning. Fast fillets lamb. How am I going to do this? Maybe I need a table. Now what I don't want is 10 of the same. So they can have a different cover. That's great. They're from some of them will be, this is called the Great Lamb Cookbook and this one's called Dinner Lamb. So it's very possible that these are two different books about recipes with lamb and they've just, this one's older than this one. But sometimes you get the one that says chicken and they'll have two different covers. It's actually the same recipes. So this one, though, that I would say, look how it says fabulous new recipes for the family meals. So I know that this dinner lamb one is different because it's got a slightly different title. It seems to me that when they re-release a book, if it's the same recipes, they keep the name the same. They just change the cover. But yeah, I just don't want 10 of each. So I guess I've got to have it's a bit like the shares that I'm learning. You need to have a stop limit. So I need to set a stop limit on these magazines, which might be, I don't want any more than maybe 5 of the same cover. I think 5 would probably be okay. If there's any more than 5, I'm going to set them aside and I'm going to redonate those ones. Now the problem is there's no point keeping more than 5 because I keep having these magazines come into me in hauls. These are not things that I actively go out and buy, but they keep coming to me. So even at 5, but that if I've got 5, then as more come in, if I go to put it away and there's 5 there, it goes into the redonate pile. If there isn't 5 there, it tops up the box. Does that make sense? 5 might be even too many. 5 might be too many, but that's where I'm going to go for it first. So I'm going to put beef. So there's 3 of those beefs. So that one's called the Great Beef Cookbook, and this one's called Dinner Beef. So I'm going to put those there. Then I've got the mince. So I've got 2 mince ones like this, and I've got 4 mince ones there. Obviously, if I spot any that are really like worn, I'm just going to pass them on because they'll just keep coming. There's only 1 pork one, so that's great. But chicken, oh my goodness, there's always so many chicken recipes. Chicken. Now there's 6 of these, so that one looks the most faded. It can go 5, 3, 3. Okay, I quite like that, except for the fact that this sticker is going to drive my OCD. Can I take yes, so I don't have to spin the box around? They either all got a sticker or they're going to have none got a sticker. There's my phone. I bet it's Tom. Hi, babe.
Hi, you ready?
You ready for lunch?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, bye.
Say bye.
Okay, it's lunchtime. Once I'm going to go to lunch, then I'm going to come back, keep working on this for a little bit longer, and that is it. I'm going to finish the video off here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.